Hello, hello, hello. It is Monday, January 2nd, 2023. My name is Jenna. This is 1111 with Jenna. I am here 7 days, 7 nights, 14 times a week, and I'm going to go public really quick. So I'm editing the privacy so I don't forget. There, that's done. Change the audience. Oh my goodness, there's just so many people here. Where are you guys? I know it's Monday after a holiday, but we're going to have a good time. I'm here and I have a guest coming up really soon. And if you love really good guitar, you want to check him out. He's not going to play tonight, but he's playing tomorrow night. So if you can get to New York City tomorrow night, and if it's not sold out yet, I would definitely, highly recommend checking out this show tomorrow night. Tomorrow morning, we'll be doing some movement. Tomorrow night, I'm not sure. Wednesday morning, walking. It's been so foggy here that you couldn't even see the lake today. I walked and kept going, where's the lake? Where's the lake? Walked and walked and walked. Went out to the side yard tonight, saw my nephew, Cam, had some good food. And tomorrow night, like I said, Wednesday, we're walking Wednesday night, community night, Thursday morning. Maybe Michael Keel will be back. Thursday night, something's gonna happen. Friday morning, Mondo Memories. Friday night, Display and Share. Saturday morning, Jeff Metzger. Saturday night, Gary Lambert. Sunday morning, I think we're gonna be making something in the kitchen. Sunday night, I'm just trying to get to these Sunday nights. Sunday night, this Sunday, we're gonna talk shoes. We're definitely, this Sunday coming up, shoes. Bring your best pair. Could be boots, could be loafers, could be tennis shoes, could be, some Stan Smith or something like that, or some Reeboks, but it could be some Fries. Whatever, I want to see them. Monday morning movement, Monday night, next Monday, maybe jokes, maybe not. But this Monday, ladies and gentlemen, right here, right now, on 1111 with Jenna. Steve Cardenas.
Yay. Hey.
Oh, we got earplugs and everything. He's ready to go. Hey, Julie Loose. Daddy, come on, Grace. Oh, I should have said live from New York. But, do you live in the city?
In Brooklyn.
You live in Brooklyn. Where?
Yeah. In Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
Cool. How long have you been
there? Actually, it's been pretty much exactly 17 years. 17 years. Yeah. Yikes. Time flies. Then I was in Manhattan for 10 years before that.
Oh yeah, where did you live?
Well, a few different places. I started out in the East Village for a year, on 2nd Street, Upper West Side for about a year and a half, and then I was in Hell's Kitchen for about 8 years, which was pretty great during that time.
Yeah, I bet. Super fun. I lived in some of those places. I lived in Chelsea. I lived in the Lower East Side, and I lived on the Upper West Side. Hey, Patty Lohman. My friend Patty Lohman's here from Chicago. Julie Luce is in from California, Fresno area. Mama Grace is downstairs, but she's on, and there's somebody else lurking. I'm not sure who it is, but so wow. Hi.
Hello.
I'm excited. What did you have for lunch today?
Lunch? I don't really I kind of do 2 meals, like morning and evening. But
okay, what was your morning meal?
I had hummus, in the middle of the day, so.
So you don't are you an intermittent person, or you don't eat till later in the day? You wake up late?
No, don't wake up necessarily late. I kind of love breakfast, and it usually holds me for quite a while. But
and then what do you usually have for dinner?
Oh, it could be anything from homemade soft shell tacos to pasta, all the usual stuff.
So you cook?
A little bit, yeah. Enough to survive.
All right. Well, I asked you, and I meant to ask on the show, but we started to talk about it. You're from Kansas City?
Yeah, that's where I was born and grew up and started music there.
So did you play with, let me think, Dave Beloved?
You know, I've just met Dave before a long time ago, and I knew about him even before I met him, just because of the musicians I grew up playing with, and I think he played with Pat Metheny some, so yeah, I knew Dave. I mean, I didn't know him, but we met when I moved to the Bay Area is when we actually met.
So you were in the Bay Area, we were in the Bay Area around the same time, but then you left. When were you there and for how long?
I was there, let me see, would have been late 80s, um, till about early to mid 93. Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
I remember running into you at the knitting factory.
Oh yeah, here.
Hmm.
Do you remember who I was playing with, or just was I hanging out?
I think, well, I know Steven Bernstein was playing,
Oh, okay.
and he might have been in the office.
Hmm.
And I can't remember. You might have been playing upstairs at one point. I was doing a lot of gigs at that point with this big band
Hmm.
that that's how I know Rolf. Do you know Rolf Sturm?
I I know just by name,
Okay.
not personally.
So Rolf and I were in a band together
Hmm.
back then, and we play together quite a bit now, or we did, and we will again. But so speaking of playing, you're playing tomorrow night.
Playing tomorrow night at Birdland with.
Kind of a big deal.
It is kind of a big deal, record release. It's
Yeah.
the record actually, in all honesty, the record came out in the summer as a CD and a download, but we had vinyl copies pressed. So this is sort of, we didn't actually do a CD release gig back then. So we decided, let's save the CD release gig when the vinyl comes out, and then we'll have everything. And so that's what we're doing, and it's at Birdland. The trio is myself, Ted Nash on tenor and clarinet, and Ben Allison on bass. And our record is called Healing Power, the Music of Carla Bley. And we'll be playing all the tracks from that record.
And just, I mean, Carla. Hey, Bill Winokur. Bill Winokur's a drummer, lives in the Massachusetts area. There's a couple of guitarists on watching. So we're coast to coast.
Cool.
So Birdland in the big upstairs?
In the upstairs.
Okay.
I've played in the theater a lot. The downstairs is just as amazing to me, actually.
Yeah,
It sounds great down there too. It sounds really
it's a
great.
cool space.
Yeah.
How did you choose Birdland as a record release?
I think Ben um, might have been the one who was corresponding with the folks there. We've played there a lot, not even just this trio, but Ben's groups, and we've all been in other groups that have played there. So it they're really great folks, and it's kind of perfect for what we do.
So how did who came up with the idea
Of the trio or the record or
of the record?
oh, the record.
Because
Okay.
what a concept.
Well,
I mean,
there's
Carla's
a
just
actually
type
I
out.
should start with the. I'll try to make it not so long of a story, but
Make
the.
it, you know what? So just so you know, I've gone as long as 16 hours. So if you're ready to
I'll,
roll and your
I'll keep
cat's
it to
there,
I'll keep it to
Bird,
I'll keep it to 15 hours then.
okay, Birdland is, you can tell people where Birdland is.
Yeah, Birdland, New York City, 44th Street between 8th and 9th Avenues. I used to be able to walk there when I lived in Hell's Kitchen, which was pretty
Yeah.
great. But anyway, this trio. So I've been playing in Ben Allison's group since 2005, and he's played on a couple of my records. And he had an idea a while back, and it was from a conversation that he and I had had about the great Jim Hall, an amazing guitarist, and how much and he's one of my heroes, one of my favorite musicians, guitarists, but also his compositions are unique and amazing as well. So we thought, man, wouldn't it be fun to play some of those tunes sometime? And Ben, this was like, oh gosh, how long ago was that? It was like about 10 plus years ago that Ben had got a gig upstate, and he thought, hey, you know what? He got a hold of Ted Nash and I, and said, you guys want to do this? Just trio? We'll play some Jim Hall tunes. And yeah, this would be kind of the perfect situation just to try it out. And it went great. We had a fantastic time. So we ended up doing other gigs. Fast forward a few years, this record label called Nouvelle that puts out vinyl only releases had approached Ben about doing a record, and Ben usually likes to release his own records with his own groups through his own label and situation, but he thought it'd be a great opportunity for the trio to record. So that's what we did, and our first record is called Quiet Revolution. It's under Ben's name as a leader, but it's all Jim Hall compositions with a couple of Jimmy Giuffre tunes, which was a trio that Jim Hall played in the late 50s. And that came out in 2016 as vinyl only. Then a couple years later, it's part of the agreement with them is that they release it, and there's no digital release of that. It's their thing. And then after 2 years, they say, okay, we'll give you the masters and you can do what you want. So Ben re-released it as a CD and a download. So that's been available for a while. Then Ted Nash had the idea in 2018. We went to Cuba to play in January. I can't believe it's already been 5 years. And he wanted to do music from West Side Story, sort of as a tribute to Leonard Bernstein, who was, he would have been 100 years old in 2018. So we got together and figured out a way to play some of that music as a trio. As you know, it's pretty, what would I say? It's bigger than life music. So to distill it to a trio without losing the, beautiful quality of harmonies and such was challenging, though I feel like between the three of us, we got to some really nice ways to play that music and make it feel like it had an improvisational element to it. But that's also just true of who Leonard Bernstein was. He was very much into jazz and improvisation as well. So we recorded that music at the end of 2018. That record came out in 2019. So the first record was Ben's idea. The second record was Ted's idea. So without anybody saying anything, I thought to myself, well, maybe I should come up with an idea for the next one. And
they're sitting there going, okay, Steve.
Yeah, right.
I'm waiting.
That nobody said anything, but I played in Charlie Hayden's Liberation Music Orchestra from 2004 to when he passed in 2014. And Carla Bley has been the music director of that group since it started in 1970. So that was the first time I met her and also got to work with her, which was to play with her and Charlie. There aren't even words that can express how amazing that felt. And then I was even lucky again to be part of Steve Swallow's quintet in 2009 to 2014, and Carla played organ in that group. and that was Chris Cheek on tenor, Jorge Rossi on drums, and yeah, that's all of us. So that was a really fun band. So not only was I had always loved Carla's music, but I'd gotten to know her personally, and she was even more amazing than I could have imagined. Just incredible human and incredible musician. So it was easy for me to think of kind of what we should do next. And as soon as I suggested it to Ben and Ted, they were immediate, like, oh yeah, let's do that. So that's how it happened. The 15
That's really
hours
cool.
yet?
No. Where's your cat? Come on, quick.
Oh, he's down there.
So you started that. I mean, you're having a record release party tomorrow night. You're gonna
Yeah,
have vinyl. That's
yeah.
cool to
We
start.
we hope.
So
Ben was wondering if the shipment was going to arrive in time, but at the very least there will be vinyl orders. But yeah, that's
that's
the
exciting.
idea.
And then 2020 happened. Had you guys started working on it yet?
Well, actually, 2020 happened before we even came, because Ted's the record that with the West Side Story music that Ted was the leader on, which is called Somewhere Else, Songs from West Side Story. That came out in 2019. So we weren't really, even at that point, trying to come up with the next project yet. So it
You were
was
still
really,
riding the wave of
yeah.
that.
And I had a record that came out actually during the pandemic, and my own record called Blue Has a Range. So I was more focused on that during the pandemic, and at least, like, well, I even debated should it be released, and I thought, yeah, you know what, everybody's sitting at home, maybe they want new music, instead of waiting for a time when it's like, well, maybe I'll release it when touring starts. I just wanted the music to be out there.
And how was that?
With when
How was it to release a record in the
oh,
middle of the pandemic?
it was actually, I felt like the right thing to do. It, in a way, I mean, I can't prove this, but I think maybe more people ended up checking it out because there were less distractions. We were all at home or not really moving around very much. That was July of 20. But I think it was towards the end of that year and the beginning of 21 that I came up with the idea, and Ben and Ted were very much into it. And then we got together and read through some music of hers and picked tunes that we thought worked best, and then we recorded in early June of 21. This really great studio in rural Pennsylvania.
Wow.
That a lot of recordings on a label called Palmetto were done at this studio. It's called Maggie's Farm. Great guy, Matt Baltzeras. And then,
And how long were you in the studio?
2 days, 2 days
Okay.
of recording. Yeah. And, both those records, I mean, that record is on Sunnyside, as well as my other record and a couple of previous. And that I just have to give a shout out to how great that label is, and Francois and Brett, and how wonderful they've been to work with.
Here we can do this. We can give them a standing ovation. So I'm going to ask you at some point, if anyone has any questions, but at some point, if you could go back to this show and post links to your music, post links to whatever you have going on, that's
Everything.
is this show? I'm sorry.
Yeah, my music is on. I think on most. I think it's on Apple Music. It's on Spotify, Bandcamp. You can buy CDs on Amazon or Bandcamp. Here comes the bomb. Here comes the bomb. There she is. The LV bomb. Say hi. Hey. Boy, she looks excited. She just
She's
wants,
cute.
she likes to bomb, but not necessarily be the center of attention. So
The LV bomb. Where did you find her?
she was a rescue um, from a New York, East New York auto parts junkyard, and
Really?
an organization called Brooklyn Animal Action. And my partner Monica is the one who discovered her
Thank you, Monica.
online. Discovered her online, and we went to see her. And I was just getting ready to leave for a short tour, and we had a cat that had passed away about a month and a half earlier, and I was, you know, feeling, I don't know if I was feeling quite ready, but Monica was like, I'm not waiting forever. So, yeah, she was pretty small. She was only about a year and a half old then, and about the size of a squirrel. And now she's the size of a small raccoon.
She's a large gal.
She's pretty big, and she's doing her best to completely bomb here. But I'm pretty much a pushover, so I let her do it.
So have you been out on tour?
I have. I have. You mean since the pandemic, or?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
In the last
Yeah.
year, in the last
Yeah, I think the first bit of touring that happened was fall of 21, where actually this trio, we went to Portugal and Spain, did a jazz festival in Seixal, Portugal, and Barcelona Jazz Fest. And a few weeks before that, I'm in another group called Adam Nussbaum's Leadbelly Project, great drummer. And that's with Nate Radley on guitar and Ohad Talmor on tenor. And we did a short tour, mostly like Germany, Austria. I think we ended up in Croatia. So that was kind of like testing the waters. And it felt, and it was fine, you know. I mean, you do what you try not to let it be, you know, let fear run your life, but you also have to be sensible and cautious. And so, you know, I generally wear a mask on planes and in the subway, any place that I feel like any kind of transmission would be a little too easy, you know. But you know, performing, a lot of the clubs are pretty good size. I mean, not all of them in New York, obviously, but so far it's been fine. I got COVID at the beginning of August, and it didn't hit too hard. I was over it in a week and was able to actually leave to do a jazz camp in Mexico City, you know, after that. So I was lucky.
You were lucky. I have one question for you from my friend Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you study and who were your teachers?
Well, I mean, I guess I initially studied in Kansas City. And so my guitar mentors in Kansas City, I would say just off the bat, would be Danny Embry and Rod Fleeman. Those are the two that really took me under their wing. And then Danny, I had taken about a year's worth of lessons from my last year of high school. And then he moved away. Rod, I got introduced to through Danny, and they would invite me to gigs that were kind of jam sessions that they were a part of, that they were hosting or part of the host band, and ask, you know, have me sit in on a tune or two, and baptism by fire style, you know. And but I studied with the teacher that they studied from, who was not a guitarist, a pianist named John Elliott, who was a town guru. And he taught, didn't matter what instrument. He taught vocalists, horn players, guitarists, pianists. I think Matheny, when he was really young, took some lessons from John. And
Did
he
you
was
play
amazing.
with Kevin?
I'm sorry?
Did you work with Kevin at all? mahogany?
Yes, I did. Not a
Did you?
lot, but a few times. And yeah,
I
I
loved
know
him.
he was amazing. Um,
Loved him. We
and,
were good
and
friends.
and at that time he was in, oh, I can't remember the name of the group he was in, but he was doing more R&B. He was pretty
Oh,
young, when I was, yeah, and he was really great at it, of course. So when he later,
yeah.
like after I had left town, that's when he started going, cultivating his, more of a jazz identity.
We used to do Monhood Jazz Festival together, and we did a couple other festivals together. We were pretty good buds. I miss him
Yeah,
for sure.
he was great.
So what about, okay, so record release this week? Are you guys, do you have other record release? Are you going to tour? Are you coming to California? Are you doing any Midwest
Well,
stuff
no,
or?
there's nothing. I just got back from California. I did
Did you?
a
Okay.
residency at Cal Arts in November.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the LA area. Um,
Mhm.
but great school. I
My
keep.
guitarist that I worked
uh
with forever, Andre Bush, went to
Oh
Cal
yeah.
Arts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I knew him, not well, but
Did you?
I knew him a little, and he was an amazing person and player. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He went to Cal Arts, so we played down there a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's quite
And
it's quite a scene.
it's great. I've taught 2 semesters there, subbing for a close friend, Larry Kuntz, great guitar player, who's the guitar teacher there. He went on sabbatical, so I subbed for him in 2003 and 2010. And I teach at the new school too here, so I was actually able to take that time off. They're really great about allowing faculty to do tours, and they kind of, new school wants a faculty that is out there playing, along with teaching. So,
Yeah, I
but
mean the people that are teaching at the new school are, yeah, touring artists for the most, many of them. I
yeah,
mean, people that I know
which is
anyway.
true with a lot of the New York schools. Honestly, it's that kind of situation. It makes sense in that regard. But I am coming to the West Coast. It's not California, it's Portland at the end of January
Oh,
with John
nice.
Coward, piano player, his group, and that's a really fun. That's going to be really fun. We're playing a few gigs in Texas, 3 nights at the, what call the 180, what's it called, 1905. There's a place here called 1803. It's 1905 in Portland.
In
Yeah,
Portland.
yeah. And then we're playing a week at the Village Vanguard, January 31st to February 5th.
Wow. Well, you're a busy man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, then there's nothing after that. So not as much.
I get it. People say that to me. They go, "Wow, you just did a gig in New York and you did a gig in New Orleans, and I'm so glad that everything's back on track." And I'm like, "See those crickets?
Yeah, I
They're
do.
real.
Really?
They're real.
Nice.
Well,
Where
they're
are
real
you?
when it comes to."
Where are you roughly?
I'm usually in California,
Mm-hmm.
and in the last, while it's been in Michigan, but I spend time out in New York with Rolf,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just out there, I don't know, a couple weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 2 weeks, three, right after Thanksgiving, I think. So 3 weeks, whatever. It's all, time is all the way it is now, and I'm heading back to California next week, and we'll be out there a while, and then I have a gig in Portland, Maine, and Rolf is going to drive up to Portland, Maine and meet me, and we're going to drive down and do some gigs in New England and in New York somewhere. I don't know yet.
That sounds
In March.
fantastic.
Yeah. So this still happens. And if you ever want to come back on and talk, and when you have a new, or come on sometime and show us the actual vinyl record, I'd like to see that. And I'm curious how many of them you pressed.
I have to ask Ben that question. My feeling is 100.
Smart.
I would think
Good amount.
max. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
not so many that you're like, I have 500 albums. But
And they're taking up half of my, they're
yeah,
actually a share now. You
Right.
make a chair out of them. Yeah, I dig.
So yeah, I think just enough to, you know, to make it worth getting them pressed, but not so many that, you know.
So you mixed them for CD, mixed and mastered for CD, and mixed and mastered for an album.
I think they were
So
originally it was originally mixed and mastered for CD and downloads, and even a little separate, not well mixed and then mastered for CD and downloads. But then I think Ben took it in separately for mastering for vinyl because that's a different criteria
whole other thing.
sonically.
And then you have
Yeah.
to kind of cut.
Yeah.
Did you cut? Yeah.
He kind of he's done this so much with his own records that Ted and I were like, you got it, and it's better because he knew kind of what to ask for and what to listen for and all this stuff.
By any chance, is the show going to be streamed tomorrow night?
I don't think Birdland does that.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of the clubs here do. Smalls does.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how they survived that
yeah.
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you, Elvie and Monica. And I don't want to keep you. There she is. Yeah.
There you see the tail.
Totally.
She's on the other side.
And share the show on your page and have a great gig tomorrow night. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks
You're welcome.
so much for having me. It's been great.
We'll see you again.
Okay.
Here's your standing ovation. Good night.
Good night.
Steve Cardenas, everybody. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Love hard, everybody.
Ciao, ciao.
Real hard. Thanks, man.
Thank you.